What's good, everybody? It's your boy Necro over here, NecroMTG. This is what we're opening today. Corrupting Influence. Oh man, my third EDH deck ever, if you will. Got the box, got some fresh sleeves to sleeve this bad buoy up. Oh man, nice and new as fuck. Good old, I think that's the one on the box. Forget where. Well, whatever. Don't quote me on that. But so as you can see, nice little sealed deck. Nice little fancy box. Some, what is this? A spin down or a life counter for commander? Actually, kind of cool. Little insert. Maybe I'll show that up after. Collector booster sample pack. It's actually really interesting. What the hell is this? Let's open it. Oh man. Don't want to like ruin it. Fuck. Some spice, if you will. Ooh. Black Sun's Twilight full art and Canker Bloom. It's actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna read these just cause like whatever. Common and uncommon. If y'all know, y'all know. If not, then well. Either way, set those bad boys to the side. Here's the deck with the face commander being Ixhel, Scion of Atraxa, legendary creature, Phyrexian Angel, costs 1, and then Abzan. Corrupted. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent who has 3 or more poison counters exiles the top card of their library face down. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. Interesting. We got some toxic flying vigilance corrupted Phyrexian shenanigans. Gotta love it. Ooh, dropping shit, fucking up. I don't want to fuck up. I don't like fucking up. Just let me put the sleeves out. They are matte black. Ooh, goddamn. Yeah, they are matte textured black, if you will. Fancy. As I fucking spill them everywhere like a champion. Either way. Pretty cool. We have Vishgraz, the Doom Hive, costs 2, and then Abzan, legendary creature Phyrexian insect. Menace, toxic 1. When Vishgraz, the Doom Hive, enters the battlefield, create 3 1/1 colors Phyrexian might artifact creature tokens with toxin 1 and its creature can't block. And Vishgraz gets +1/+1 for each poison counter your opponents have. Your opponents. So wow, that's like all of them. It's pretty fancy. Keep the commanders right there, I guess. Ghostly Prison, this is nothing new, but creatures can't attack you unless their control pays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you. Very good. Very good. Grateful Apparition, flying. Whenever Grateful Apparition deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, proliferate. That's actually really fucking good. Probably in this deck as well with planeswalkers or the poison counters or etc. Bilious Skull Dweller. This is from the new set. Death Touch, toxic 1. Gotta love it. Blightbelly Rat. Love the art. Phyrexian Rat. When this dies, proliferate. Toxic 1. 2 for a 2/2 instead of a quote-unquote bear. It's a rat, but it's like a pretty super rat in my opinion. Swords of the Plowshares, a fucking classic with a nice new art. Exile target creature, its control gains life equal to its power. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Caress of Phyrexia. Target player draws 3 cards, loses 3 life, and gets 3 poison counters. What the fuck? Could technically burn someone out like that if they already have like the other poison counters they need, and then you put 3 and make them lose. And or if you're doing proliferate tokeny bullshit anyways, like that just seems kind of spicy, oddly. Ichor Rats. Infect. This deals damage in the form of -1/-1 counters, and to players in the form of poison counters. Interesting. When Ichor Rats enters the battlefield, each player gets a poison counter. Just proliferate-y, poisony countery type things. Feed the Infection. You draw 3 cards, you lose 3 life. Corrupted. Each opponent who has 3 more poison counters loses 3 life. Yeah, draw 4 for 3 with the upside. It's pretty decent, in my own opinion. Knight's Whisper. You draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. This is all about just powering through the deck, getting what you need, I guess. Shit. Plague Stinger. Flying Infect. 2 for a 1/1 flyer. Pretty decent. A lot of these creatures are like sack fodder too. I'm noticing, like, you don't really care if they stick around. You just want them to deal their 1 or 2 and then keep on trucking. Infectious Inquiry. You draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. Each opponent gets a poison counter. See, there's like a crazy theme going on here of drawing and losing and sacking and boozing and yeah, kind of crazy. Pestilent Siphoner. Of course, there's some fucking car honking bullshit that y'all could probably hear in the background of the video. Oh boy. Flying. Toxic 1. Just 2 for a 1/1 flyer. Turn your goddamn car alarm off. Stupid fucks. Alright. It's almost like they heard me. Beast Within. Costs 3. Destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green beast creature token. That's actually really good, and especially if you're killing something better than a vanilla 3/3. Gotta love it. Oh man. Blight Mamba. There's a joke in there somewhere. 2 for a 1/1 infect and regenerate. Pretty decent. Its venom drips with all of Phyrexia's hate. Ooh. Carrion Call. Create 2 1/1 green Phyrexian insect creature tokens with infect. For 4. I don't think that's very good. But allegedly it's an uncommon, so yeah. Cultivate is amazing. Search your library for the 2 basic land cards, reveal those cards, put 1 on the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand, then shuffle. Classic standard staple, if you will. Evolution Sage. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, proliferate. That's amazing in this deck. It sounds like cheating almost. Gotta love it. Mycosynth Fiend. Phyrexian Horror. Mycosynth Fiend gets +1/+1 for each poison counter your opponents have. That's amazing for a 2/2. Maybe not early game, but like it could cost 3 for like a fucking 20/20. It's pretty badass. Noxious Revival. Phyrexian mana can be paid with either force or 2 life. Put target card from a graveyard on top of its owner's library. Super fire. Especially for 1 or 2 life and no mana. Vat Emergence. Put target creature card from a graveyard on the battlefield under your control and then proliferate. Wow, it's an amazing animation card with no downside. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Viridian Corruptor. Cost 3, infect. When this enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact. That's pretty good. Love the R2. Phyrexian Elf Shaman. Oh man. Vraska's Fall. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker and gets a poison counter. That's decent. A lot of little tricky poisony tricks here. Molder Vine Reclamation. When your creature you control dies, you gain 1 life and draw a card. This card's amazing. It's from, could be wrong, but I want to say one of the Ravnica's, like Guilds of Allegiance or Guild there. I don't know. It's from something. Card's really good though. Mortify, another classic. Destroy target creature enchantment. Ooh, same with Putrefy right behind it. Destroy target artifact or creature. Can't be regenerated. It's the same as Mortify, but Golgari instead of Orzhov. P cool, P cool. Good to see the classics with new art. Arcane Signet. Ooh, naturally, right? 1/1 of any color of your commander's color identity. Commander Sphere. At 1/1 of any color in your commander's color identity. Sack, draw a card. Decent. Little mana rock, if you will. Little mana sphere. I don't know. Contagion Clasp. When this enters the battlefield, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. And you can pay 4 to proliferate. That's kind of cool. One costs 2 as well. Norn's Choir Master, flying first strike, 5 cost Phyrexian Angel, looks fucking badass. Whenever a commander you control enters the battlefield or attacks, proliferate. Interesting. Lock in them poison counters for the win, right? Norn's Decree. Whenever, this is an enchantment, whenever one or more creatures an opponent controls deal combat damage to you, that opponent gets a poison counter. When a player attacks, if one or more players being attacked or poisoned, that attacking player draws a card. It seems sketchy. Because I think it benefits everyone besides you, unless I read it wrong or misunderstood it. But either way, Geth's summons, badass art. Return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Corrupted. For each opponent who has 3 or more poison counters as you cast a spell, put up to 1 target creature card from that player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Ooh, that seems fucking spicy. TBH. Love the art too. Phyrexia Outbreak. Each opponent gets a poison counter. Then each creature your opponent controls gets -1/-1 until the end of turn for each poison counter each controller has. In a 4-player commander game, that's probably really badass. Or even 2 or 3 player, really, right? Containment Contaminant Grafter, mind you. 5/5 for 5, trample, toxic 1. Whenever one or more creatures you control deals combat damage to 1 or more players, proliferate. At the beginning of your end step, if an opponent has 3 or more poison counters, draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Interesting. So if you're like corrupting fools, you get a card draw and a ramp. Pretty decent. Glissa's Retriever, haste, toxic 3. Glissa's Retriever can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Badass. And then Corrupted, when this dies, exile it. When you do, return up to X target cards from your graveyard to your hand, where X is the number of opponents who have 3 or more poison counters. Huh. I like it, I like it. Ooh, Wormquake. This is fucking badass. Cost 6. Corrupted, create an XX green for X worm creature token with trample and toxic 1, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast this spell. Huh? Then for each opponent with 3 or more poison counters, you create another one of those tokens. Oh, amount of mana. That's interesting. I don't see why it wouldn't be 6 unless you're copying it or, you know, whatever. Still really good though. Glistening Sphere enters the battlefield tapped. When this enters the battlefield, proliferate. Add 1 of any monocolor, or add 3 of any monocolor if only an opponent has 3 or more poison counters. That's really fucking good, it seems like. Need to take my damn slippers off. Oh man. This shit like showing up good or what? Yeah. Fumigate. Destroy all creatures. Gain 1 life for each creature destroyed this way. Decent if you have a bunch of mites and useless little tokens that don't like technically matter. Norn's Annex can be paid with white or 2 life. Creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays 1 Phyrexian white mana for each of those creatures. I don't really know what you would call that. Like the terminology, is it a Phyrexian mana? Is it a white Phyrexian mana? I do not know. But either way. Fuck. Let's see, Phyrexian Rebirth. Destroy all creatures, then create an XX colorless Phyrexian horror artifact creature token, where X is the number of creatures destroyed this way. That's really badass. Seems very good. In Commander, at least. I don't know about for 6, but whatever. Windborn Muse. Creatures can't attack you unless the controller plays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you. Ooh. Damn, y'all really heard that. That's fucking wild. It's my lunch, you know. Just squeezing out, if you will. Well, anyways. Painful Truths. Hate them painful truths. Converge. You draw X cards and you lose X life, where X is the number of colors of mana spent to cast this spell. Could be a 3 for 5. Well, not really. Could be a 3 for 3, I guess, technically. I don't know. Phyrexian Swarmlord. Hello. Cost 6 for a 4/4 infect. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 green Phyrexian insect creature token with infect for each poison counter your opponents have. That's really badass. Even for 6, just like discard and reanimate or something, you know. Scavenging Ooze, badass, and or a classic. Exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, put a 1/1 counter and Scavenging Ooze and you gain 1 life. Bet. Culling Ritual, also really good. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. Add black and green for each permanent, or add black or green for each permanent destroyed this way. Merciless Eviction, love the fucking art. Choose one, exile artifacts, exile all creatures, exile enchantments, or exile all planeswalkers. Bet. Whatever's pissing you off the most, get rid of that shit. Chromatic Lantern, badass. A little mana fixing. Perfect in like 5-color decks and or probably Commander. Canopy Vista, just a nice little white-green rare land. Comes in tapped unless I control 2 or more basic lands. Basically like turn 1 or turn, you know, a lot. Exotic Orchard, add 1/1 of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. That's interesting. Very interesting. Fortified Village. Remove forests or plains if you don't enter tapped. Kind of decent, kind of not, because you're giving them information. But either way. Karn's Bastion. Tap 4 proliferate. Wow, proliferate. Gotta have talk. Ooh, what? The motherfucking Necro Blossom, baby. God damn it. That's really good. If you don't reveal a swamp or a forest, it comes in tapped. Shine Down Snarl, same thing. If you don't reveal a mountain or a plains or a swamp, it comes in tapped. I'm surprised like all these rare lands are mid, but they're still rare lands. Interesting. Add, pay 1 to add 2, 1 of each. It's like sword or ramp ish. Temple of Malady or Malady, no, Malady, but yeah, scry 1 and then black or green comes in tapped. Gotta love it. Temple of Plenty. Green and white scry land. Yeah, Temple of Silence, black and white scry land. Y'all know. Felwar Stone, add 1/1 of any color that a land an opponent's control could produce. I don't know. I don't know if I get that. Golgari Signet, just a little ramp in green and black. So yeah. Grafted Exoskeleton. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has infect. When this becomes unattached from a permanent, sacrifice that permanent and equip 2. This seems decent. Ichorclaw Mirror. Infect 2 for a 1/1 infect, and when this becomes blocked, it gets 2/2 till the end of turn. It's pretty decent if you could like put a kind of enchantment on it that makes everything block it, and then, you know, when it becomes blocked, I assume it means per instance it gets 2/2. I don't know though. Depends. I don't know. Anyways, Plague Mirror, Infect, and Ramp for colorless. Actually, amazing for 2. That's fucking badass. Wow. Hex. Soul Ring, tap for 2. Y'all already know. Trailblazer's Boots, and equipped creature has non-basic land walk and equip 2. That's pretty decent. Everyone has non-basic lands in Commander, and then you're getting in your Toxic, which is crazy. Bajuka Bog, when it enters, exile target player's graveyard. Badass. Classic. Especially in Commander, you know, get rid of just a bunch of shit you don't want coming back later. Command Tower, add 1/1 of any color in your commander's color identity. Bet. Ooh, my phone's going off. Oh man. Croson Village, add colorless or pay 2 sack, get a plains and a forest. Oh, this is only uncommon. It's a double fetch. I guess it doesn't tap for mana though. Or like, you know, not for colored mana. Myriad Landscape. Oops. Enters tapped, add a colorless or the same as before, but for 2 basic lands of any kind. Oh, that's share land type. Interesting. So basically you get like, you know, 2 of one color with that one. Ooh. Path of Ancestry. Enters tapped at 1/1 of any color in your commander's color identity. When that mana is spent to cast a creature spell that shows a creature type with your commander, scribe 1. So Phyrexian. Pretty badass. Canker Bloom. Oh, this is the foil I got. Fancy. Sandstep Citadel, Abzan Tapland. That's really good actually. Tap for colorless or plains or swamp only if you control a swamp. Interesting. I feel like that's from Torment from way back in the day, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty cool. Expand the Sphere. 4/4. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. Put up to 2 land cards from among them onto the battlefield tapped and the rest onto the bottom of your library in a random order. If you put fewer than 2 lands onto the battlefield this way, proliferate a number of times equal to the difference. Wow. So if you biff, you get 2 proliferates or 1 proliferate, or if you get, you know, 1 and nothing, then you still get something at all. If somehow you miss lands. Same as Tainted Wood. These are definitely from Torment. The Tainted, they don't work unless you have a swamp in play to tap them for the swamp or the color of their orientation. Noxious Assault. Creatures you control get 2/2 to the end of turn. When a creature blocks its turn, its controller gets a poison counter. Wow, that could win the fucking game, but it's a sorcery. If that was an instant, that'd be like a game-winning card. Unnatural Restoration. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand and proliferate. It's pretty decent. Venomous Brutalizer. Phyrexian Knight. Badass. Toxic 3. Hold on. Toxic 3. When Venomous Brutalizer enters the battlefield, you may pay 2. If you do, proliferate. And it's the President calling too. It's good though. I'm almost done. Mere Convert. Toxic 1 and pay 2 life. Add 1 mana of any color. Not the best ramp thing, but I guess it's a creature and like a mono rock sort of, but like the 2 life is just like ass to me. And then finally Phyrexian Atlas. I love the 5 fucking suns. That's fucking badass. This is super sick. Add 1 mana of any color. Corrupted. When it becomes tapped, each opponent who has 3 more counters loses 1 life. Wow, nice little, not like a win con per se, but nice little drain on top of, you know, all the other shit your deck's doing, which is pretty cool. We'll just go through these quickly because they're just lands. Love the new arts though. I get 2 of these? Or Poison Counter, Phyrexian Worm. This one's like hella fucking nice though. This one's hella nice and hella thick. This is the first commander I read. But yeah, wow. Shit's like double thick too. Double nice, double wide. And yeah. I'll see about the lands up. But yeah, it's your boy Necro. This has been the new Phyrexia All Will Be One Corrupting Influence deck. And yeah, signing off. Like, comment, subscribe. Check me out on Twitch. Check out my IG. And yep. Okay, bye.